Hello my friends, welcome to the Electric Viking. Fantastic to see you. Hope you've had an awesome day and thank you for subscribing to the channel. There's been a large number of you lately that have done so. That means a lot to me and I really appreciate your support and your support really of the entire movement of electric cars and, not wanting to breathe in disgusting polluted air. I mean, it makes a lot of sense, let's be honest. Now, the Wuling Mini EV is probably going to be one of the top 5 selling cars in the world. I'm not talking about EVs here. I'm talking just about the automotive sector by 2024, maybe even 2023. What is the reason for that? Well, many of you know about this vehicle. Many of you know this vehicle is selling like crazy. In fact, Wuling sells one of these every 20 seconds. Now remember, this car is part of a joint venture between Wuling SAIC and General Motors. And this could be a trump card for General Motors in terms of massively increasing their global sales. Although, of course, it's only really a 1 in 3 in terms of their partnership. They only own a third of this business. Still, it's an incredibly lucrative area because, well, just look at how many hundreds of millions of people worldwide could actually afford one of these. Yep, some might be a stretch, but this is the car for the masses. Now, sales of the Wuling Mini EV exceeded 40,000 in August and will almost certainly hit 45 to 50,000 units in September, meaning more than likely in this month it will exceed Tesla's vehicle manufacturing and sales of Tesla's China vehicles in China. Well, actually it already exceeds Tesla's sales in China, but I'm talking about actual manufacturing production of Tesla's vehicles in China was actually just exceeded this one, the Wuling Mini EV, in the same month of August, but I think you're going to see that change next month. However, my prediction for this vehicle sales in November is 80,000, meaning double what they sold in August, and in December, 90,000. There's a key reason why I think I might even be being conservative on this sales prediction. However, we'll get to that in a second. Now, remember, I believe this vehicle next year will sell potentially 100,000 units a month for the entire year, or about 1.2 million over the course of the year. Now in 2023, this is where I think we're going to see this vehicle go global. We know it's already starting to be sold in Europe through Lithuania, where the company there actually takes the cars over there, changes them a little bit to meet certain safety regulations, and then they're reselling them for around about $10,000 US. But it's now been upgraded. This new upgrade has made this car bigger, given it twice the battery size and twice the range and about 50% more power. Now before it was speed limited, but now it should be able to hit 100 kilometers an hour. So this is the kind of vehicle now which is going to totally change buyers' perspective of these kinds of cars. Now before, people just looked at this as just a little city car, you wouldn't want to drive it on a highway. Now it will be capable of being driven on a highway, but due to Chinese subsidies, it's actually going to cost almost the same amount as the previous model. So what's the price? Well, after subsidies in China, buyers will pay only about 5,000 US dollars for a car, an electric car with 300 kilometers of range. So that's around about 7,000 Australian dollars, or around about, under 5,000 euro. As you can imagine, if this car even just sold for double that price in Australia, in Europe, in the United States, in Canada, in the UK, in South Africa, in Japan, the list goes on and on. Where do I stop? In India? Where do I stop? Seriously, if this car sold for even double this price, sales would be absolutely insane. Now, like I said, sales this month were a record for Wuling, but that was before the new model was released. Now, according to the latest reports, in August, the total volume was 41,188 units, which is a new all-time high. It means the company has probably sold some of its apparent production constraint issues, hopefully. Obviously, semiconductor supply chain issues are significant right now. Chinese companies are doing whatever they can to adapt to that. In fact, I've made a video about that. I'll put it in a link in the description below, and make sure you check out that video. I think it's one of the most interesting videos I've ever made. Now, the SAIC GM Wuling joint venture sold a total of 43,783,000 EVs in the month of August. Tesla sold or exported a total of 44,264 units. BYD sold in China 60,858 new energy vehicles. BYD also, similar to Wuling, are on a rapid trajectory upwards. Now, so far this year, Wuling 250,000 Wuling Hongwan Mini EVs. But I think they're going to hit 250,000 in the last 4 months of this year, meaning they'll sell and deliver 500,000 of this vehicle this year. And like I said, I think 1.5 million next year. So now, like I reported on a previous video, this vehicle will be upgraded. The new model will be larger and will have a wheelbase of 2010 millimeters versus 1940 millimeters for the previous model, a length of 3 meters versus 2,917 millimeters for the previous model, so around about 83 millimeters longer, and a much bigger battery, which is going to be 26 kilowatt hours compared to 9.3 or 13.9 kilowatt hours for the two battery pack options right now. So you can imagine, right, a 26 kilowatt hour battery in a vehicle of this very small, lightweight size is probably going to get you a realistic real-world range of 280 to maybe 320 kilometers. Now, thanks to this longer range, the vehicle will now qualify for subsidies as well as collect more zero-emission credits for each sale. Now, the increased cost to make the vehicle will be obviously offset by the fact that it will qualify now for a 16,200 yen subsidy, which is around about $2,500 US. And also it will therefore qualify for more trading credits, which are worth between $500 and $1,000 US. Now, I made a video about how Wuling actually makes money out of this car. They make about $1,000 US per car, only because of the credit they get from the Chinese government. Otherwise, they only make $24 US in profit. But that $1,000 US is enough to mean they actually make an industry-leading margin of, well, more than 20%, which is well over the margin that European automakers such as BMW, Audi, and Mercedes make on their cars. Incredible when you think about it like that. So what this is going to mean, right? The consumer is going to get an electric car with double the range, way more power, more seat space, more legroom, for pretty much the same price. You can see where I'm going with this, right? You can see how Wuling GM SAIC have really kicked it out of the park with this car. How this car, I believe, will essentially take over the Chinese market. This car, along with BYD, they're the two big players. And now XPeng with the P5 as well, that's going to really crush it. Imagine when all these players are selling globally. How will people compete? I don't know. It's going to be very tough for European auto manufacturers and Japanese auto manufacturers and American auto manufacturers to compete with this group of companies that are just all competing with each other, forcing their prices down, forcing themselves to make better products. And remember, Chinese subsidies. The Chinese want the Chinese auto manufacturers to take over the automotive industry, and they're willing to put a lot of money into this to make sure that it happens. Now, in the comment section of some of the articles where I've read about this stuff, people are saying it's a low-speed vehicle. Sorry guys, you're not actually using your brain here, guys. Just have a think. It's now got 50% more power. It's got 30 kilowatt and well over, around about 150 newton meters of torque. That's enough power to get this thing to 100 kilometers an hour. You need to rejig your thinking. If they come out and say, we're changing the car, it's now changed to this spec, you need to kind of adapt your brain to thinking, okay, it's been changed. I no longer have to consider it a low-speed vehicle. Now, obviously, people are saying, well, it's only a car that will apply to the low-speed vehicle market of, say, 1.2 million vehicles in China. That's not true. They now, of course, can go after that market with their cheaper model, the one that's $4,000 US. But this more expensive model, the one that's about $5,500 US, it's still crazy, right? A lot of people spend this much money on a push bike. I mean, wow. But still, this is the car that takes it out of that market. Sure, it will appeal to people in that market as well, but it'll also appeal to people in the market who previously thought it wasn't a car they consider because they couldn't drive it on a highway. It now will be able to do that. Now remember, there are so many places other than China where this car would be popular. And I think just about any large city in the world, it would be popular. It has a 300-kilometer range, a lithium iron phosphate battery, and all it needs is a few extra safety features, and this is going to be a global car. Thanks for watching the video. I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.